I'm Morgan, and today I'm here with you for a Small Wonders live stream. Our project today is going to be these fantastic little jiggly paper octopuses. They are very cute. Pop quiz, is it octopuses or octopi? I'm actually not sure which one is more correct, so maybe we can figure that out. Either way, they're very adorable and very easy to make. So if you're going to do it with me, I will give you a chance to gather your materials. You will need something round, about the size you want the body of your octopus. As you can see, this one is a little smaller. This one is a little larger. So you can really tailor this to how big or large you want it. You could make a really mini one, or you could make a really big one. I suggest having some tape. That might help along the way. You might want a marker or colored pencil, some kind of drawing utensil. You will want some glue for sure. You will also for sure want a pair of scissors. You can do this project with either construction paper or white paper. Here I have a bunch of construction paper. I would recommend you have a main color and then an accent color, because we can do some kind of fun things with that. And if you want to give the octopus eyeballs and stuff like that on top of the paper that we make, you might want a piece of white paper because you'll be able to draw your details a little bit better on it. So let's get started. I'll just move that guy out of the way a little. Start by taking your round template and just put it on your piece of paper and just trace around it best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect whatsoever, but it helps if it's pretty round. And then you're just going to cut that out. This project is kind of an interesting one because you don't have to make an octopus in theory. It could be a squid or a jellyfish. Any kind of round creature from the sea with legs will do. That's fine. Okay, so I've got a little circle, and with this circle, you are going to make the very bottom of the body. So that's where that goes ultimately. So we have to make the bell of the body, if you will, the top rounded part. And how you do that is you will take a piece of paper. Now with this paper, you get to decide about how big you want the bell of the body to be. So for example, if I fold it this way, the body will be about that tall. If I fold it this way, the body will be taller. Personally, I'm going to make my strips this way as opposed to this way, but if your circle is bigger or if you want the body to be taller, you might make it this way as opposed to this way. So take your paper and fold it one direction. Make about, I don't know, I'm not really good with eyeballing measurements. Maybe that's about an inch, maybe it's more. But just fold it like that, and then flip your paper and fold it the opposite way. And this way, no matter what the measurement of your strip is, they'll all be just about the same size. Don't need any rulers or anything. Now, if the circle that you cut out earlier is quite a bit smaller than mine, your strips may need to be thinner. And if yours is bigger than mine, your strips will, like I said, need to be longer, but you can also make them thicker than this. It is very customizable. All right, so I've got my paper more or less folded. I've got kind of an overhang that doesn't quite fit in, but we might use that strip anyway. So you've got your little fan accordion. Now, cut on the fold of each of those. And as you can see, my folds aren't perfect. They're not straight up and down. You don't need to fuss over that too much, as long as they're approximately the same size. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. See, I'm not really a fan of the ocean. It's kind of like space for me. I don't like big open spaces. There's something a little bit creepy. But this is a very cute project. Much cuter than real squids. I don't know. How do you guys feel about giant squids? I think they're kind of spooky.
I think they're beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are gorgeous. As long as they're like really far away from me, I'm okay. There are some kinds of octopi I think are really cute. Like they discovered, and maybe Nick can link this, they discovered an octopus from the deep sea called the Dumbo octopus. And he's got really stubby little tentacles, and he's got kind of big ear-looking fins that he uses to locomote around the ocean. And they look like Dumbo's ears, hence the name. So I'm thinking about my sea creature today, and I think that that's probably the cutest octopus, so maybe that's the one I'll make. But you'll have to let me know if you make a giant squid or a different kind of octopus, or one from your imagination, one from nature. Totally up to you. Okay, I've got my strips now. What you'll do is you'll fold just a little tab on the end of your strips. Make sure that the tabs are going the same way, either in or out. Okay, I've got my little tab right there. And then I'm going to glue that tab to one side of my octopus. Now you can decide whether you want to glue the tabs to the top of your circle, or you can glue them to the bottom like that. In this case, I'm going to glue them to the top. It doesn't really make a difference, so whatever you prefer. All right, so you glue down one side on one part of the octopus. And you create a dome, and you glue the other side down just the same. Okay. So there you have it. You're starting your dome. Now, this is a process that you're going to repeat quite a bit. So we might not make a super full dome today, just because it would be a little bit repetitive, but I will show you a few times. And I'll show you how you need to fill it in. So again, folded my little tabs, gonna put some glue on them. Now, this one, you should make an X with your first one. So it's gonna go across like that. This is so that when we are creating our octopus, ultimately it will be round. If you put the next tab right next to the other one, it would make kind of a funny shape in the end, and you'd have to keep on cutting them down smaller. But if you cross them, then in the end it will be a nice dome shape without you having to cut your strips down anymore. And what you can do is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to glue their tops together so that there's no kind of bubble in the middle of the strips. Just makes it a little bit neater, but it's not a step you have to do. So again, just going to do that. The little tabs, a little bit of glue, and this time I'm going to try and close in the next gap, again crossing over the middle. Now you can do this as many times as you'd like I said, to create a really full octopus body, and as you can see, there are lots of little gaps in the middle that you could ultimately fill in. I think I'll do probably a few more strips, just so that we don't have giant holes in the middle of our octopus. Small ones are okay. It is really hard to get it to close completely in the end. So here we go. There's that. There's that. All right, there you go. And really quickly, we've already sort of made a body of our octopus. I'm going to stop here with this because we still have several more steps to get through. But you could continue to fill in all of those little gaps. You might need to cut smaller strips, cut strips in half. You might need to just kind of sneak the tabs in there. Perfectly fine either way, but we'll go with this for now. So next we have tentacles. Now if you remember the sheet that you cut your original circle out of, you can make the tentacles out of this sheet. Or you can use a different sheet, different colors, doesn't really matter, but I'm going to do it this way so that I save some paper. As I recall, the Dumbo octopus that I'm basing this off of now has kind of short tentacles. So I'm going to make some shorter tentacles to glue to the bottom. You can make 8 tentacles if it's an octopus. You can make less than that if it's a squid, I believe. I don't know how many legs squids have.
I thought they had like 700. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it could be possible. If you want to make a jellyfish, you could actually use yarn to glue to the bottom of this. That would be a good one. But like I said, I'm making a Dumbo octopus, so I'm going to do my tentacles just like that. And of course, this is from memory, so I don't know if their tentacles are really exactly like that, but I think it's close. It's fine. You can make up your own kind of octopus. So there we go. Just gonna cut those out. Nick, if you were going to make this project, do you know what kind of sea creature you would make?
I think I'd try to make a cuttlefish.
Oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
They've got, if you've never seen one, they have really funny looking faces. So, almost done with cutting these out. Pretty simply. You can be really exact if you'd like. Doesn't matter too much to me in this case. Okay. So I've got his legs cut out, and now I'm just going to glue them right to the bottom. I have marker on one side of my legs, so I'm just going to glue it so that the marker is face down, and that's one way to handle that. You know, we're trying to work smart, not hard with our art today. You can work really hard with it if you'd like to. Oops, wrong side. Well, now our octopus might stick to the table a little, but that's okay.
It's the suction cups.
Uh-huh. Well, we're going to get to that one next, because I think that you can make really cool suction cups, but we'll give it a second there. Okay. There we go. This probably is not the right number of legs for this creature, because I did not make 8. And if it's an octopus, it should probably have 8. That's fine, though. This one just doesn't have as many limbs. He's still good. Okay, so there's his little body with his short little limbs. Like Nick was saying, we can make some suction cups. Just gonna put that aside for a moment. I chose an accent color of paper, getting very fancy, I know. You can use your accent color, if you would like, to cut out some suction cups, and then you will have colored suction cups. You can also draw them on with marker. That would be another good way to do it. Either will work. I find with this way, it's just a little nice pop of color, because you guys know when you draw on construction paper that is colored, sometimes the colors don't turn out as vibrantly as you'd like. But this way, I can get bright yellow, which I couldn't get on top of that color of pink paper. Well, I could with paint or maybe a really opaque material, but, you know, with markers anyway. So I'm just cutting out little circles. Now, if you did a big octopus with thick tentacles, These could be pretty big circles, and even they could have 2 rows of them, or even come off of the tentacle a little bit, like really big suction cups. Lots of room for you to figure out what it is you'd like. This is a small one, so he probably doesn't need all that many. And I'm not being exact with the shape, because in nature, things are pretty organic anyway. I don't know, maybe suction cups are perfectly round, but I'm not too fussed. There we go. Cool. We'll do a few more. All right. So, same with everything else in this project, really just paper and glue. You can just glue them down wherever you'd like them. I'm going to glue that there. It's really good that we have this yellow coloring on this table, because I swear every time I do a project in here, I'm getting just a little bit more glue stick on the table. Now what you could do, if you don't have a covering on your table, is glue on top of another piece of paper. Probably your parents would prefer you to do that, but I'll live on the wild side a little bit, it's okay. Okay, cool, so I've got my yellow suction cups. Now, there's no rule saying just because you glued something you can't draw on it, so we'll decorate that a little bit too. You know, for me, a suction cup is kind of just a circle with another circle inside of it. Something like that. I don't know, maybe it looks a little bit different for you. You'll have to show me, but that's kind of what I'm picturing. So there, I gave all of his front feet suction cups anyway. Maybe we won't stare at his back feet as much, but yeah, look, that's kind of cute, huh? So now we can focus on a face. You have to decide where on the octopus the face should go. For me, I have a gap where I didn't make legs, so I think I'm going to put his face in that gap as though he were, you know, spreading his legs away from his face. But if you don't have a gap, you can pick maybe the flattest side. Like, if I weren't thinking about that, maybe I would pick here because it's got a good plane for the face. It's really up to you. No right way to do it. So I'm going to think about some eyeballs. I don't really know what a real Dumbo octopus eyeball looks like, but I'm going to make it up, so that's fine. You can do big circles, or if you have another idea, you can do that. They can be any shape, any size. There are no rules. All right, I'm going to give him a big, shiny eye. So if you guys are coloring in something and you want to give it like little cartoon shines, you can just leave those spots blank and that will do that. I'll show you in a second here. You probably know this. There you go. See? Like little cartoon eye shines. No, I think I will. I think I will just give him one eyeball. Ooh. That's what I would like today. So I'm just going to cut that out. Nick, have you ever been to the ocean before?
Oh yeah, a few times. I'm quite versed in the ocean.
Have you ever seen anything like our creature today in the ocean?
No, I've seen a lot of fish, but I haven't seen a lot of other stuff. I don't think I've been to the parts of the ocean where you're likely to see those.
Yeah, me neither. Okay. There he is. He's looking kind of cute, but we don't have to stop here. We can continue to accessorize. I'm afraid if I give it a mouth, it's going to look more like an alien than a sea creature. We'll come back to that thought. What else could he use? I don't know. I'm feeling that this is a very debonair fellow. Perhaps he needs a top hat.
Oh, yeah.
We can do that. So that's the thing. Customize them however you'd like. If you'd like to make a top hat for them, that's pretty easy. You might want some tape for this one. It's going to hold it a little bit easier than glue will. Go ahead and make a tube, which is a little bit harder than it seems, I guess, while you're holding a piece of tape. Okay, I've got my tube. Oops. Well, I had my tube, and then I promptly threw it. Once you have your tube, you can cut little strips out of the paper like this. Just all the way around. Not being precise, that's going to give us something to glue to in a minute though. You can take your tube. You should trace it to seal it on top. And then make a slightly bigger circle for the bottom, because top hats have a brim. This guy has a white top hat. That's kind of funny. I feel like most of the time when I think about top hats, they are black, but
usually, yeah.
They can come in any color, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to let me know if you make any accessories for your sea creature today, because I think that they're such charming little friends that they deserve it, personally. But they're cool naked too. They don't need clothes. All right. There you go. So you got your little circle to seal it. So take all of your little things, the slashes in the paper, I suppose, that you made before, bend those down. And then you might want to just get some glue on them. And from there, place it on the brim of your hat and glue it down. You're going to need to press it pretty good. And then if any of your little tabs overhang the brim, mine do in a couple places, you can just cut them off. And then you've got kind of a top hat, but you might want to seal the top with your little circle, so I'm just going to take a few pieces of tape. They don't need to be very big. It is a very small top hat. Oh, my circle is now a little too small, but that's fine because we can fill it in a bit. This is why I suggest having some tape on hand for this craft. You can do most of it with glue, but there are certain things that will be easier if you've got a little tape. And one of those things is definitely attaching this to the octopus itself. Because the octopus is round and glue doesn't normally stick very well to round things. So I just made a little tape loop. All right, there we go, a well-accessorized lad. And I think that this is just about good. You know, in art you gotta know when to quit. Maybe if I added more to him, he would lose some of his simple charm. So this is what I've got today. Please, I want to see these. This is one of my favorite projects. So if you have made it along with me, post a picture in the comments and then I will compliment you on your beautiful octopus. Thanks so much for joining me today. Have a great one and see you Thursday for Lab for Teens.